Imagine being so hungry that even hope feels distant. That's where this story begins. The city of Samaria was under siege. An enemy army had surrounded it, cutting off all food supplies. Inside the walls, people were starving. Prices for food had skyrocketed. Desperation filled the streets, and outside the city gates sat for men with leprosy. In those days, lepers were outcasts. They weren't allowed to live inside the city. They survived on scraps and charity. But now, there were no scraps left. One evening, as the sun was setting, the four men looked at each other and said something honest. Why sit here until we die? They had three options. Go into the city and starve. Stay where they were and starve. Or walk into the enemy camp and maybe be killed. But maybe was better than certain death. So, as darkness fell, they slowly made their way toward the enemy camp. And here's what they didn't know. Earlier that day, God had caused the enemy army to hear something strange. The sound of approaching chariots and horses, like a massive army coming against them. Terrified, the soldiers assumed Israel had hired reinforcements. In panic, they fled. They left everything behind. Their tents, their food, their silver and gold. By the time the four lepers reached the camp, it was silent. No guards, no soldiers, just abundance. They stepped into one tent. Food. They ate until they were full. Another tent. Silver and gold. They took some and hid it. For the first time in a long time, they weren't starving. But then something shifted. They looked at each other and said, "We're not doing right. This is a day of good news, and we're keeping it to ourselves." So they went back to the city gates and told the guards. At first, no one believed them. It sounded too good to be true. But when scouts went out and confirmed it, the whole city rushed out. The siege was over. Food was everywhere. And the prophecy that seemed impossible just hours earlier became reality. Here's the lesson. Sometimes your breakthrough begins with a simple decision. Why sit here? The four men who were rejected, overlooked, and forgotten became the first to discover the miracle. God used the least expected people to bring the greatest news. And sometimes, the step you take in fear becomes the doorway to unexpected provision.